Hi everyone, this is Duncan from the podcast Under the Stairs. This particular video you're checking out just now has the archival recording attached to it. The archival recording is from our podography, I think that's the term that we use, and it will feature reviews of movies that fall under the 88 Films Italian Collection series. Now, the vast majority of reviews we've done over the last 5 years have been in audio format and published on our RSS feed for the podcast. We are transitioning over to give you access to all those reviews right here on YouTube under a playlist. Now, we're doing that because we're about to do our first video recording of 88 Films Italian Collection release, that being Tentacles. So there's plenty of opportunity to delve into the back catalogue of the reviews here. And if you like what you hear, then please hit subscribe on the channel, leave your comments below, and check out the rich catalogue of over 1,200 episodes we have on podcasts Under the Stairs on any podcatching device or Spotify that you use. So stick around, enjoy the episode, and I'll speak to you very soon.
$20,000. That's not bad, Jeff. Besides, it's not really a crime. My uncle's 80 years old. 80? All it means is giving him one little push. You'll have no regrets.
Hey, look, I want to make you happy. So if you say okay, I'll even hire this friend of yours. What's his name, Killeen?
Killeen, you can't hire.
If I want him, I take him or anybody else.
Where are the photographs?
I want you to join our little family.
I've been an orphan all my life, Weber.
So look, you draw a regular salary, pension, you'll have all the freedom you want, always. There's no divorce from our family.
Lined up like they were in uniform. They're just clerks nowadays. Killers with a time clock to punch and an old age pension.
Calling all cars on the lookout for Jeff Heston. Search every likely building in the area. Cover parking lots, movie houses, parks, and all streets. Question all persons who might have seen him or know of his whereabouts and communicate to headquarters immediately. Urgent, we must know the direction he's heading in. Repeat, we must know the direction he's heading in. He is an extremely dangerous individual and sure to be armed.
Why is it whenever I'm with you, I always end up in the middle of blood and violence?
Well, it happens. The whole city is full of blood and violence.
And welcome back, ladies and gents. You've just heard the trailer for Violent City. This is disc number 71 in the Italian collection from 88 Films. The blurb on their website says thusly: with legends Charles Bronson of Death Wish and Once Upon a Time in the West fame, and Telly Savalas of Horror Express and Lisa and the Devil on board, director Sergio Somila, who did Devil in the Brain and Revolver, is able to serve up a full-tilt poliziesque feature rammed with twists and turns, tension and balls-to-the-wall action-packed sequences. After being betrayed by his girlfriend Vanessa, hitman Jeff Hetson, played by Bronson, is shot and left for dead by Coogan, a one-time business associate. But after serving time in prison on a trumped-up charge, Hesson pursues his mistress and would-be killer to New Orleans in search of revenge. Yet another fabulous entry amongst the plethora of Italian crime thrillers. Violent City will not disappoint lovers of this entertaining European subgenre. The special features on disc 1 are a new 4K remastered transfer of Città Violenta, an alternative 2K remaster transfer of Violent City, a 2.0 English DTS HD MA mono with some sections in English and Italian with the subtitles over the scenes that were never dubbed into English, a 2.0 Italian DTS HSMA mono with newly translated English subtitles, and an audio commentary by Charles Bronson expert Paul Talbot. On disc number 2, The Family, the shorter US and film source from rare archival 35mm print with optional English SDH. Shooting Violent City, an interview with director Sergio Somila. Violent Somila, an interview with the Italian cinema expert Eugenio Ercolani. An Important Friendship, an interview with Perpanio de Santis. The Controversies of Violent City by Eurocrime director Mike Malloy. Original trailer, The Family trailer, The Family TV spots, and the technical specs are that this was released on the 16th of May this year. The region code is region locked to region B. The audio is DTS HDMA mono. The picture is 1080p HD 235.1. Runtime is 1 hour, 109 minutes approximately. That's 1 hour 49 minutes. Languages are English and Italian, subtitles are English, and certification is 18. So I had never seen this movie before. I had never actually heard about it. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of ye old Chuck Bronson. I grew up on the Death Wish movies, so I'd seen them all before. But with that, the occasional appearance of him in a movie, would usually be met with that, oh, it's Charles Bronson, awesome. Telly Savalas, another one. I mean, out with things like Kojak and the occasional appearance in something like a Lisa and the Devil or a Horror Express. I would never say he was an actor that I sought out much in the way of content from. And then you bring these two guys in together on a project like this from a director who's primarily known for doing things like spaghetti westerns. And I was curious to see, because this, it's calling it a poliziesque movie, but this was made in 1970s, so this is kind of ahead of the poliziesque boom, which comes kind of post-Giallo in, 74, 75. So this is kind of not even really a poliziesque movie, if we're being honest, because this isn't police officers hunting criminals here. This is essentially criminals within criminal organisations doing criminal things. It's an interesting one because, essentially you are following Charles Bronson, who is a hitman, who is, his business is murder for hire. So he's not exactly a nice guy, a likeable character, and he's fairly cold, calculated and meticulous in the job that he does. He makes sure that when he's killing someone, he takes his time, scopes things out, and where possible, gets away unseen. The movie is kind of, the first third of it is essentially Bronson at the very start going through this car chase where he's set up by his one-time friend who shoots him, tries to leave him for dead, but Bronson manages to fight out, and he's been seeing this girl Vanessa at the time, and it turns out Vanessa might have been with his one-time boss, and as a result of that, it basically looks like what you have is a scenario of, has he been played? You know, or is this a case of she has been used but didn't want to betray him, etc., etc. And his, you know, confinement to a prison cell is really about the first third, and then he gets out and sets out on his first mission of revenge to kill this guy that set him up, which he duly does, then falls back in love with Vanessa, who it turns out is actually married to this guy played by Terry Savalas, who is the head of a criminal organisation. In the background, Chuck Bronson's lawyer is constantly trying to help him, trying to, you know, get him back, it would appear, to work with the organisation. He's the kind of lawyer for Terry Savalas' crew. And he gets brought back in, and Savalas manages to get him through blackmail. He'd taken photographs of Bronson executing a assassination of this guy that set him up, and kind of gets him back in the fold. And then Vanessa and Bronson start getting back up to no good, and then it looks like she is either being used or using him, one of the two. The result will be revealed at the end, to kind of get rid of Savalas, in that she knows where he keeps the photographs, and if she can, you know, basically get Bronson to the photographs that are being used as blackmail, he can dispatch his boss, and then they can live happily ever after, ? And essentially it builds up from there into what I will put out just now as a spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen Violent City, because the kind of high watermark of this is the ending, which is the ultimate double cross of Vanessa and the lawyer over Bronson. We find out that she's been playing them all so she can take over the organisation, and Bronson's going to take the fall for it again, but he manages to escape the police, and you get this kind of great final shot of Vanessa and the lawyer going up in this glass elevator to assume control of this business, this criminal business enterprise. And as they're in the elevator, and the scene's silent, the lawyer is shot from a distance, obviously by Bronson. And then we get this great shot of Vanessa kind of looking out of the window in the direction of where she thinks Bronson is, and basically saying, please don't let me suffer. And then she gets shot in the head, so she dies. And then Bronson waits for the police to arrive, and then he provokes a cop to kill him, and that's the end of the movie. Weirdly, Violent City owes a lot to, and it shouldn't surprise from the director, a lot to spaghetti westerns. It has that kind of, Bronson is that kind of, you know, the lone gunman who's brought back to do one job but betrayed, you know, and ultimately has to seek a path of vengeance, fully knowing that that path of vengeance will ultimately kill him. And it follows those beats. Bronson's actually pretty good in this. I've never really rated him as an actor, to be honest with you. I find him fairly wooden, and he's very wooden in this one, but actually benefits the role quite a bit. Savalas is chewing up the scenery and having a great time. He's not got his Kojak lollipop, but you know, he appears to be having a ton of fun with the role. Vanessa's an interesting character as well, even though I always feel that we don't get much of her, but that once again probably aids her performance overall. It's scored by Ennio Morricone, who does a great score here. It's like really, it fits the movie like a glove. And I think my biggest issue with it, and I'll say I did enjoy this one, but my biggest issue of it is I kind of feel like this is a kind of very basic bitch plot that's elevated by some good performances and a really cool ending, but primarily the idea of a hitman being used by either a woman or her boss for the double cross, and then having this. I've seen that before. There's movies that predate 1970 that have done this formula, and plenty that have done it kind of post. So it didn't ever feel at any point like this was kind of charting even remotely any new ground. Plus it's about an hour and 50 minutes long. Now I will stress that I checked for this review both the Violent City transfer, which was the 2K one. I checked like the first 20 minutes of Citia Volenta, the 4K transfer, which looks fucking gorgeous. I mean, absolutely stunning cinematography. The print is like just nuts, like absolutely nuts for that one. And then today I watched the shorter US version, The Family, which I'm moaning about it being too long, but the shorter version didn't do much for me either, if I'm honest. I actually preferred some of the content in the overall one, so I'd much rather watch the longer cut of this movie, even though I feel it is long, you know, it is a bit too long, than the shorter family cut. So special features on this are bitchin', so some really great interviews and featurettes for sure. And like I say, you get essentially what, 3 versions of this movie: a 4K transfer of the Italian print, a 2K transfer of the English print, and then the shorter US version on the second disc with all the special features. So they really have put the work in on this one, and it feels, I was complaining about the cost that I spent on it and the fact that 88 Films at the moment are releasing everything as limited edition. Like everything in their Italian collection now is a limited edition, which is I mean, obviously the price of things is going up, but does Violent City need this limited edition with these discs at a higher price? I don't know if it does. Does Knife of Ice, the next movie we're going to cover, does that need like a £25 limited edition fancy box cut of it as the first print? I don't know if that one does either, if I'm honest, but that's just their pricing model now. Nothing's down to just a standard edition. They're all mega editions, and that's the game we're playing, and they're kind of smartly and crudely doing that with these bigger kind of collective items by creating more expensive versions of them to drum up money. I completely understand that. It's just a bit frustrating for sure. See, this is one of these ones where I don't know if I would have ever seen this movie ever had it not been in the collection. I've seen it, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would rush back to watch it, even though I don't necessarily have much in the way of gripes with it. It's just one of those ones where I kind of feel like I've seen the movie in its entirety now, and now having seen the American shorter print of it, there's nothing really that is compelling me to rush back to it. Violent City would get a 3.5 out of 5 from me. And like I say, it's probably one, if you like kind of Charles Bronson, if you like those kind of crime movies, Euro crime movies, this is one for certainly checking out. I don't know if it's one for rushing out and buying.